Hey guys, this is John with NV Property Solutions, and in this video we're going to be going over cheap upgrades that you can do to your house right now. They'll make a big impact when you're going to sell it right here in the Reno area. So if you aren't quite sure if you're going to sell it, or maybe it might need some repairs or whatever, and you're definitely thinking about selling it, but maybe you want to list it with a real estate agent, this video is definitely for you because we're going to be going over some of the cheap upgrades that can definitely make a big impact when you're selling your house. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And the first thing is, obviously you want to show your porch or your front yard some love. So if you have a porch like on the front yard, uh, definitely spruce it up a little bit. Maybe put some new stain on it, some more water seal or something like that to make it not look so worn or outdated. But also too, if you don't have a porch in your front yard, um, maybe even sprucing up your front yard. So like maybe adding a couple bushes, shrubs, or something of that nature. Or if you have grass, cut your grass. If you don't have grass, make it look somewhat presentable. You want to have your curb appeal look really good for you, so that way people will actually stop and be like, okay, yeah, let's go check out this house. Because believe it or not, people still do drive around and while they're looking at houses. Yeah, I know it's rare because we live in an age of technology to where you can just get on the internet and pull up the house you want to look at, and then do basically a virtual tour there, which we are doing virtual tours now. Actually, I believe as of right now, Governor Sisolak, he lifted the ban on open houses, so now we can actually have open houses for if you're going to sell it with a realtor. So that's good news. But just in case you're still wanting to, not wanting to have people inside your house because of the COVID thing, that's fine. You can still do a virtual tour, and your real estate agent will definitely work with you on that. But enough about the COVID stuff. Moving on. Um, Here's some good tips for you. Paint your mailbox. Put some flowers around it. That's quick and easy, especially if you have a mailbox out front. I know most of the people in and around Nevada, they don't have mailboxes anymore. They're now down at the they're all like that big metal box, where they're all centrally located. If you're in a rural area, you might still have a mailbox, but maybe that can be something you can actually do. Like I said, give your porch some love, which is also thorough cleaning. Um, like maybe get rid of all the spider webs and stuff like that in and around your front porch and your front entryway, so that way people aren't. I mean, it is Halloween, the time of the year now, as of recording this video, so yeah, you definitely can leave some. I wouldn't necessarily recommend having real spider webs or real cobwebs or all the dirt and muck that we get from the wind and stuff like that, especially if you're going to sell your house. But if you have all the artificial spider webs and makes your house look decorative, then sure, I mean that could work. But again, you wouldn't want to go too overboard with decorating for if you're trying to sell your house right now. If you have, like I said, I also touched on grass. Make sure you water it, keep it somewhat kept up. I know we're getting right in that period where it's super cold in the morning, but yeah, it's still super hot in the evening. So definitely want to make sure your grass is cut, and of course, other landscaping and stuff like that. Make your yard look nice. Adding a xeriscape front yard also attracts buyers too. Okay, so then the next thing is that you want to one of your cheap upgrades is definitely your kitchen needs some help. Right now, people are more focused on uh, they're not into like um, the tile countertops anymore. If you can upgrade, great. If you can't, no big deal. People are still buying stuff with tile countertops and Formica countertops and stuff like that. As long as it looks nice, I'm sure people will definitely be happy that it's at least done up right. You don't want to go and just leave your countertops with all the food and all the gunk and stuff like that. You want to especially if you have tile countertops, you want to get all the grout cleaned and stuff like that. If you can, paint your cabinets, especially to a more eye-catching color, something with contrast. So say if you have a dark countertop, you want to have a light cabinets, and vice versa. And also too, if your floor is really dark, you might want to have a lighter um, cabinets, and then maybe even somewhere in the middle of that, your dark floors and then your super light cabinets, maybe somewhere in the middle of your countertops, or right when you're somewhere in between. I'm not a feng shui artist, so um, just make sure it looks nice. And something, a woman will have more of an eye for this, just because um, they see more colors than men typically. Um, but just make it look nice and stuff like that. Of course, you can also put new hardware on your cabinets. That actually spruces up a lot, even though that's a really cheap upgrade. Maybe a new sink faucet, assuming if yours is all worn out and dingy and stuff like that. So show your kitchen some love, and it'll definitely reward you in the long run. And of course, the going right off the kitchen is you want to do your bathroom. Same things with the bathrooms. If you can, say you've had one of those old clawfoot tubs. I mean, those are great, but some people may not want those, so you might have to install a new tub. And then of course, the tub surround and stuff like that. And if you want to tile, do tile, but make sure it's done correctly, and so that it doesn't deter from what you actually did. And if it's done wrong, or if it doesn't look really good, people are going to want to tear that out and start over. And of course, they might ask you to reduce the price on the house. But if you have it done professionally, then you don't really have anything to worry about. But if you do it professionally, it's going to cost you a little bit more in the long run than maybe doing it yourself. Sure, it might take you longer to do, but it might also be worth it too. So it might pay off. But of course, also if you have tile countertops in your bathroom, you might want to make sure you have all the grout cleaned out and stuff like that. And of course, give your bathroom a definitely deep clean, especially if you have kids and stuff like that, because kids tend to be messy and they don't really clean that well. So of course, make sure your bathrooms are clean. And of course, you don't want to forget the backyard as well, because I mean, if you think about it, when people come into the house, and they picture themselves in the house, then they go outside, and if they can picture themselves outside too, great. So I wouldn't really recommend it, because it's kind of a really good or really expensive upgrade. It was like a pergola. But if you want to do something cheap, maybe go out and buy a barbecue from Walmart or something like that, and stick it out in the backyard. And of course, you want to make sure all your landscaping is done, well too. So like, people aren't necessarily against just straight dirt backyards and stuff like that. So that gives them an idea of what they want to do. But like, say if you do have trees and shrubs and stuff like that in your backyard, make sure they're well groomed. Make sure there's no weeds in the backyard either, because no one really wants to buy a house and have to go and pull weeds. So just make sure your yard is kept up. Also, too, you can also put in a fire pit. They're not too horribly expensive, and of course that gives people a more, or even what you could do is like get a fire pit put out in your backyard, and heck, maybe if you want to, you can take that with you, and then put some chairs around and stuff like that. But that's totally up to you if you want to do that. And of course, the last thing that I would for cheap upgrades is just make sure your living spaces are good too. Like, you don't have any personal pictures out. I mean, you can, but not. I wouldn't say like your whole wall is just completely covered with of your kids and all their sports and whatever else. And of course, you wouldn't want that. Like, put yourself in the buyer's shoes, or in the buyer's shoes, so that way when if you walk into a house and you're like, hey, there's a picture of Tommy and Gina and all your friends and family and stuff like that, buyers wouldn't want to see a bunch of pictures of everyone else's family. So I mean, you can leave some pictures up and stuff like that to kind of somewhat personalize it, but you don't need to have all the pictures up. And of course, that goes along with too, because we're in that decorating season right now with Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. You don't necessarily need to put out all the Christmas decorations either, or all the Halloween decorations, or stuff like that. If you want to put out some, that's fine. But you don't have to necessarily give it your all. And of course, what you want to do is make sure you have plenty of natural light coming in. So open up the blinds. I know maybe you are a vampire and you just like to keep the room dark all the time. I get it. But when you're trying to sell your house, you're trying to bring in as much natural light as possible, so that way people don't have to turn the lights on and off all the time every time they leave and into the room. And of course, that means cleaning the windows, especially if they haven't been cleaned for a long time. But that's it for this video. I don't have really anything else for it. If you need some ideas or need some help and stuff like that, you can definitely feel free to reach out to me at any time. My phone number is 775-391-5236, or head over to my website at nbpropertysolutions.com, and there you can shoot me a message and figure out exactly what you want to do with your selling house. However, if you're not wanting to do any of that and the house is in too bad a shape that you don't have the money to fix it up or don't want to, feel free to give me a call as well. And there you can also, on my website, you can also get a no obligation cash offer. Other than that, I hope this video helped you out with giving you some ideas and some cheap upgrades. And like I said, if you need any help, feel free to call me or shoot me a message at any time, and I'll get back to you. Other than that, you have yourself a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you next time.